Hey, here we go again. Fabian, the upgrade man, back with the Alkalise to Realise talk show. Today is going to be an absolutely fantastic show. We have the legend, a legend in the urine therapy community, which is Casey Caban, aka WEEDU Wanderers. Yeah, he's an absolute legend in this game. So welcome to the show, Casey.
Thank you so much. I'm honored to be here.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So, can you just begin by just telling us about your journey and what it is that got you into urine therapy initially?
Well, interesting enough, it was one thing leads to another. That brought me to the knowledge because I'd never heard of it. Absolutely not. And so I was doing some research on, the idea that the Earth isn't a globe, and I found Dave Murphy, allegedly Dave, and I liked Dave, so I just thought, wow, this guy seems really fascinating. I think I'll watch some of his videos, and so I ended up on listening to one with him and Andrew Norton Weber. And they're talking about distilled water and this, that, and the other. All of a sudden, the term urine therapy comes into the conversation. And I went, wait a minute, what? What did he just say? What is that? I was really curious. And so I learned they're like drinking their pee. And I thought, well, that is really interesting. That's so curious. Why would anybody drink their pee? So I binged for 2 days on YouTube videos, just learning everything I could. Now, when this was all going on, my hands were decrepit. They were so advanced in extreme arthritis, I couldn't open a bottle or a jar. I mean, they were in so much pain, it was crazy. So by the third morning, I just said, what have I got to lose? So I just peed in a glass and drank. I started guzzling my pee and distilled water and just went on a fruitarian run for several weeks, and within a matter of just a day or two, my hands started moving. Within 10 days, I mean, they were like full movement, and I quit all meds within 2 weeks. I just stopped all meds, and I'd been on meds for years, just stopped them. And I just ripped off the rearview mirrors, man. I said, this is the shit, man. I don't know why. It was like, and I've reversed age by easily people to think I'm 25 years younger than I am. I'm 65 years old. And I lived a life of pain, I had chronic illnesses, degenerative disc disease and sciatica, arthritis, bursitis, tendinitis, COPD, you name it, I had it. And I was taking drugs for all of them. So to just like eradicate that whole program out of my life was a miracle. I live it every day. I look at my life and I go, this is a fucking miracle, man. It's amazing to me. So I'm digging the ride, man. I'm just, I'm totally digging the ride at this point, and I find it effortless. Based on the interview you had with Monica, plus my dear friend Rosalind Hanson, they're my two main mentors. They have been right from the get-go. I mean, I read the Martha Christie, I read Dave's book, I read Water of Life, I read the Hilton Hothemus. I bought a big library real fast and just digested all that. But Rosalind and Monica were my direct, link homies, my mentors.
Yeah.
And so most of the protocols and advancements and the transitions were all just, I kept listening and doing all that. But I do a lot of travel. I'm on the road a lot. I'm up to like 36,000 miles in just over a year. And I continue. So to continue looping, it starts to become a real pain in the ass, because I don't eat that much, right? So it's running right through me. So I'm driving down the road, peeing in a glass every 15 minutes, and it gets old. So now I'm just doing, I do my morning pee. I'm going to be doing my bath soaks, and rubs when I have the opportunity. But I'm just drinking. I have my oldest age urine right now. I mean, it's like a whiskey.
Yeah.
I mean, it is powerful. It's easily 20 or 21 months old. And I have protected it. So I've been using that to start with. And I'm doing like 2 or 3 shooters a day. And that's it. My morning pee and a couple of shooters and a bath when I have the chance and rubbing. So that's kind of my protocol at this point. and I feel really good all the time. I mean, I'm just feeling great.
Fantastic.
So
what
yeah.
you moved to the age during then? Because there's I can hear from what you're saying, because there's always that kind of leveling up, I call it. You're going from like kind of looping with the fresh urine, and you kind of move towards the age urine as well.
Yes, I mean, I wasn't drinking it before. I was using it. I mean, in baths, body rubs, enemas, all those things. But I hadn't really gotten into the protocol of just doing shooters and drinking it. I mean, I knew about it all along. I just wasn't into it. I just wasn't there. But yeah. I have about 65, maybe 70 gallons of pee aging right now back in Missouri. I mean, I've got it. I've been saving it and aging. I mean, I've got a warehouse of pee. It's awesome, man.
Amazing.
It's amazing. Yeah, you know. And again, it goes back to Monica, because that's when I first learned about age to begin with. And I said, "Oh, you save it too?" You know, this was early on.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I think I'll start saving it. You know, so I just jumped on that. And I mean, I pee a lot, you know, I'm a factory. So, you know, collection is no brainer. I mean, I'm in Texas right now hanging with my homeboy Shane.
Yeah.
And just since I got here a few days ago, the bath I took this morning was almost 4.5 gallons. And that was all just in a couple of days. I collected 4.5 gallons of pee.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a machine.
There was a really good picture going around. I remember seeing it. It was showing it before and after. You know, fantastic.
Yeah, Monica did that. She took a couple of screenshots, and that was it. And people are coming in, oh, that was photoshopped. Oh, he used filters. And it was like, no, I just did screenshots. That's him. That's him. Amazing. Yeah.
Two absolutely beautiful souls there, both Monica and Roslyn. Beautiful souls. So what was life like before the urine therapy? What was happening before that? What were you?
Well, I'll give you a little background on that, because it really started, it's going on 4.5, almost 5 years ago. Now, my body was a complete mess. I mean, I had all these chronic problems, which put me on disability. And then I had my neck go out, and I was in like a 24/7, like deep-rooted nerve damage kind of pain because of my neck for like 8 straight months. And then I got approved, and I had an operation. I have a plate in my neck that was drilled into number 3 through 7 vertebrae because my neck was so beaten up out of alignment. It was pinching nerves. So I weighed 246 pounds when this operation occurred, and it took me another 8 months of rehabilitation, and I had to do a lot of minute exercise to regain, because I couldn't move my neck at all. I couldn't move it before the operation, and it took me several months before I could actually move it again. And so it's been quite a deal. Now, here's some really significant things. Number one, I after the operation, I changed my diet, not immediately, eventually. It was almost a year later. I went to a vegan diet, and then I quit smoking and drinking and coffee. I just kind of stopped all that. And so I started dropping weight. I got down to 196 from 246, 50 pounds. It was pretty significant. And but I was still in pain all the time. I was taking handfuls of meds all the time. The operation left the side of my face and this whole part of my neck with nerve damage. It was numb to the touch for 3.5 years. It was just numb to the touch. I figured that was going to be the way it is forever. But after I started urine therapy, within 3 months, all of that went away. So I've had all these really significant, noticeable physical experiences. Number one, pain-free, which is like a total miracle. I mean, that's a total miracle for me because I was always in pain. And, having the nerves regenerated was major significant. Having my hands back, I mean, it's just been so many things, so many levels. And then I did a lot of fasting too when I started the UT. I did a lot of protocols, the diatomaceous earth and the diatomaceous earth and turpentine. I was doing all these things, and it kind of got to be too much. So I backed off, and that was okay. Um, and I settled in. I finally started settling into a much more. But what I was doing is body rub every day, looping every day, and enemas every day with aged urine. I did this for months. I got down, and I was doing fasting, and I got down to 144 pounds. So from my top weight to my bottom weight, that was a 102-pound differential. Now my skin was hanging on me like a cheap suit. I mean, I'd look at myself in the mirror, and my buddy would look at me, and he's like, "Dude, what are you doing to yourself?" You know. But I knew I was detoxing, and this is something I really emphasize with people all the time. You know, you're not getting sick; you're getting healthy. But you know, whatever it took to get you that sick, you may have to have some reversal in process. And detox is serious. It shows up in, it can come out of your skin and boils. It can come out of your ass, your mouth. You know, it can come out of all sorts of places. And it starts to freak people out. I said, just hold the space. Don't freak out. Just keep the routine going. It's your body expressing all of the, you know, metals and shit. It's getting rid of shit for you. So trust it, trust it, trust it. And people who do will see the improvement. So I did level up from 144 once I just started. My body found its own perfect balance. So now I weigh like 165. I fluctuate between 165 and 68, which is what I weighed when I was 19 years old. So I know I'm reversing back into that perfect place, you know, a real perfect place for me. And even with my smoking and drinking, which I go back and forth with, you know, coffee. I mean, I go back and forth with these things. I'm still regenerating, rebuilding, and reversing my age. I mean, I can see it. I can feel it. It's all happening. So the reason I emphasize this point is because I want to show people that you can actually be, you know, with your bad diet, with this, you can be all those things. But by drinking your pee, you can return to your natural order. You can actually restore. Now, it may take a little longer than the person who's a total fruitarian, you know, fasting and doing one meal a day and guzzling distilled water. Certainly that's an advantage, but it works either way. And that's the point I want to emphasize, because people get like intimidated by way too much of a science mind, or people that are, you know, doing such hardcore protocol that they think that they can't do it, it won't work, and this, that, and the other. And that's not it. It's a myth. It'll work either way for anybody.
Yeah.
So I want to educate people on that level. You know, drink your pee and report back to me and let me know how it's working for you.
Fantastic. It's what I term the avatar has a reset mechanism, so it's pretty in line with my perspective on things as well. I remember watching once a long time ago, because I generally go by energy, and you were doing a video, and it was about your pineal gland. You were having this experience with the urine. I don't know if you were looking at the stage, you know.
Yeah, no, it was amazing. I mean, I was in the shower. And all of a sudden, I mean, my whole body, my whole experience, I mean, I was being just completely filled with this bright golden, you know, explosion. I mean, it was just like amazing to me. And my thoughts were going, the decalcification is working. You know, I'm tapping back into the pituitary and the pineal. They're turning fluid again. And I could see it. I mean, it was just so visual to me, and physical. It blew my mind. And that's why I made a show about it right then. I thought, this is crazy cool.
It was good. It was good. You could feel that coming through the actual video as well. So it's a really powerful video, that one.
Yeah, that one's one of my highest viewed ones. I mean, it's got like, I don't know, 12,000 views or something. I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
So
you know, and the thing is, see, I don't go back and watch my videos.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I watch them when I record them just to make sure they recorded all right and the program was right. But I mean, it's not like I sit around watch my channel. I'm always moving forward, you know. So I leave that up to others.
Yeah. Speaking of moving forward, WEEDU Wanderers. I've seen the show with Roslyn, which was a fantastic show. That looks to be very good as well.
Yes, and that's one of my main focuses right now. I have, I produced 6 different shows over the last year and a half, and 3 of them I'm remaining in focus on. And We Do Wonders, the next generation, is the one I'm going to focus on in a primary way because it's all about human interest.
Yeah.
And so I have the privilege of meeting and knowing so many fascinating people, and they allow me into their lives. I ask with humble permission if would they allow me to like film them and in their world and show me what their world looks like. And with that agreement, I'm on. I'm the director, producer, and jazz. So when I get people's permission, I'm on. And I got a whole bunch of people coming down the pike. I mean, I'm on the road again. I'm going to Austin, Texas here in a couple of days. Then I'm heading to New Mexico, Washington, Oregon, California, Arizona, and I've got a whole loop about to come out for a couple of week turnaround. And I intend to be producing some pretty interesting shows here over the next couple of weeks. I'm real jazzed. Yeah.
Fantastic. That may end up expanding outwards. You may end up coming over this way. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, no, and I honestly, see, I've got things in the hopper right now, and people keep going, why aren't you on Facebook? Why is it da-da-da-da-da? Well, I mean, quite frankly, I just couldn't take any more of the groups. I mean, all of it is just too much rattling noise and people just tripping on stuff that I'm focused on something completely different in a higher elevated form. One of them is, I have a web designer building my .com. It's going to be called OrantownStudios.com. It's going to be involving production and promotion and publishing. And it's going to be an open format, and she's doing a fantastic job. So I'm getting ready to kind of release that soon. And I intend to create a dynamic that supports through sponsors, through contributors and donors, so that we can take the We Do Wonders all over the world. That is my intent. For the moment, I'll just keep doing it at the scale I'm doing it around the country, because I live on a real meager means. I have a disability stipend that comes in once a month, and it's not much. So I just make it work one day at a time, but I have bigger visions about it. I see the expansion. I know that I am to be going around the world, and not just doing the shows. I know that I have the capacity and the capability and the wherewithal to be, doing public speaking events and all that. I'm a natural at this. I've trained myself for decades. I was in show business forever. And I have no fear of cameras, mics, or audiences, man. I'm totally down with it. And I am a motivator. At this point, I call myself a motivational healer, not a speaker. I'm just a motivational healer, because I want to show people that they have everything they need to totally turn their life around and heal themselves. Absolutely unconditionally, effortlessly, if you just take a few steps and turn some shit around. Now, I have a seminar thought, and you're going to laugh at this, I know, but it's been a seminar. Just the title in itself, the title itself is, you got to enemize that shit. Okay, so it's about doing enemas of the brain, enemas at the heart, enemas of the body, and clear the shit out. And until you clear the shit out all the way across the board, you're going to be full of shit, and that always stinks. People reek with that. You can see it in their aura. You can see it in their energy. You can see it in their attitude, behavior, in everything. So I think it's a valuable tool. And I have a sense of humor about all this shit, because I'm a stand-up comedian on top of it. So I don't want to get so serious and significant and scientific that people get lost in the word. I like to keep it light and show a sense of humor about it all, because we're cartoons, man. We're all cartoons. And the more serious somebody takes themselves, the more I have to laugh out loud.
You're not really here. You're just an avatar. Yeah. This is it. It's true.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, I know I'm a cartoon. I make no bones about it. I take it on responsibly and have a sense of humor about it. You know, that's why the other show, Casey Caban's Saturday Morning Cartoons, it's all just about the cartoons, man. And there's cartoons everywhere. I
Yeah,
love cartoons.
yeah, yeah. Brilliant. Don't you think that with the
Yeah.
urine, it makes you notice these things more, because obviously you can see it in other people more, that kind of shadow side that I like to term it. You can see it more with having
Yeah.
kind of doing the urine.
Yeah, I read energy now. You know, I've trusted my instincts on reading energy for a long time, and so it's very Tesla in a mindset. If you learn how to read energy and dial frequency, you'll feel vibration. Okay, so it's all about energy, frequency, vibration.
Yeah.
And there is, there's a series of steps. First, you got to know how to read the energy. And most people don't know how to do this because they don't trust their instincts.
Yeah.
They get the mind chatter going and they totally goon it, right? Rather than taking their first gut instinct, their mind will start tripping and they'll go totally away from the first instinct. There's the first mistake.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to find the frequency and dial it at that point. And me, I like good vibes, you know. So I resonate at that level, man. I want to read that energy, find and dial the frequency, and dig the good vibes. And I do. I mean, I have some of the most beautiful people in my life that I ever could have imagined. The High Vibe Tribe is alive, and it consistently grows. And I consider you to be a part of that development as well, my brother.
Thank you, brother.
You know, it's a pleasure to get to know you at this point and include you into my world. I mean, big time.
Likewise, definitely.
Yeah.
Without.
So, yeah. So it's all just it's just an ongoing process of every moment we breathe, and that's all. I never go anywhere past the now. I am totally about living in the now, even though I have a great imagination, many dreams, all that. I never am living anywhere but in the now moment, ever. Yeah. It's the only place to be.
Yeah. That's where the peace is at.
What's that whistling I keep hearing? It sounds like fireworks.
Yeah, we're coming up to bonfire night here in the UK. So around me, there's a lot of fireworks going on at this moment because it's the weekend. So people will be having their bonfire night in all the gardens around. So we have to excuse that one, guys.
Oh no, it's hilarious.
It's hilarious.
But I was just wondering because I kept hearing it. It's like, is that just me?
It's like a party going on in the background because we're talking about urine therapy. You can't beat it.
Yeah, I can dig it, man. That's awesome. Yeah, really awesome.
So in terms of the aged urine, then, are you drinking much aged urine at the moment, then?
Yeah. I just really stepped up my game. I started this last week after I saw the interview with you and Monica, and also when I went and did the WEEDU Wanders with Rosalind, because Roz and Monica have been my two main mentors from the beginning. Now, I bought all the books. I was reading Martha Christie, John Armstrong, allegedly Dave, Hilton Hotemus. I mean, I was reading all sorts of material to bring my knowledge up to speed. But in direct relationship, I was real tight with Monica right out of the gate and with Roz. So I had a direct communication with both these women. And they are the ones who really educated me on the aged urine, you know, all the way across the board, how to do it, you know, enemas, you know, all these elements I got those hits from them. So it was only recently I realized I wanted to step up my game because I've been doing fresh and looping, but not drinking the age. I do body rubs and enemas and those kind of things. But doing the shooters is awesome. I'm really down with that. I mean, I'm really clear that that's the ticket to ride. And my oldest stuff right now is like 22 months old, and it's like a fine whiskey, you know. And it's just like you take a shooter, you feel the burn, and I just go, "There's the juice right there, man. I can feel that shit." These are kicking shooters, you know. But I also know you got to be conscious. I mean, it's not like you want to drink a pint, man. You'll be sitting on a toilet for a week. You'll flush your body out real fast.
Oh, yeah,
You got to take it slow, man.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
And I've even noticed that. Yeah, since I started doing the shooters, which has only been this last week, is when I really dedicated to that transition and started. And I mean, there's some mornings, some days. I mean, I'll be on the toilet 4 times. It's like my body is just like in a real flush, and that feels good. You know, I mean, that's awesome when that get the shit out, man. Enemize that shit.
That's the thing about this leveling up. It just keeps going to another level and another level. All the fantastic things, all the massive detoxes that you've done, and then still, it just keeps going on and on and on. There's so many levels to this with the H-urine and urine.
Oh yeah, I mean that's the beauty of it all is that there's no end to it, and there's no wrong, there's no right way or wrong way. I mean, it's your medicine. Figure it out. That's why I encourage people. I'm not a big proponent on being like the guru with clients and all that pretentious bullshit. I think that is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And anybody who wants to do that, that's up to them. Me, I want to be straight with people, show them the light, just get them drinking their pee and assure them it'll be all right. I don't need to hold their hand and all that. I'll answer questions, but I tell them, I said, trust your instincts, listen to your body, drink your pee and report back to me. Yeah. And once you do that, we can have a furthering conversation. I'm not going to sit here and answer your 101 questions. And your considerations, fuck off. Drink your pee, report back to me. Get started, and then we'll talk. Because it gets old. I mean, people with their endless questions. I mean, come on, get out of your own way, okay? There's nobody in your fucking way but you. Get out of your way and, get with the program, okay? Yeah. It's not hard, and it's totally free. You can just, pee in a glass and drink it. It's not hard.
Sabotage. Just get on with it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I really am astute about that. I don't want to be anybody's guru. Don't put me on platforms. I'm just who I am. I do accept the fact that I'm animated, I'm a performer, and I'm transforming. I am a poster boy. I accept that. I've had miraculous change. I recognize that. And so, I'm okay with all that. That's me being me on me. That's all. I'm just doing me.
Yeah.
And I want to hear other people's testimonial. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
I get tired of hearing my own, but I'm okay sharing it because it is a miracle. My experience is miraculous from my point of view. I would have never saw this one coming. After a lifetime, and I'm serious, I was in pain my whole life. Variable things. I've had so much body damage throughout my life it's just insane that I'm still one person. Really it is. Yeah. Truly. So I'm grateful. Yeah.
Brilliant. For people to come through and sit and see that, it's such an inspiration, for many people who've been suffering, and they could be coming into it at a later stage in the 50s, 60s, whatever. It matters not. Because everything can just be released, can't it?
Yes. Well, as Rosalind says so poetically, pee is not discriminatory. It has no discrimination.
Yeah.
Anybody can do it. Anybody can use it. Anybody can heal with it. Just get your mind wrapped around it correctly and get out of your way. Quit looking at it as some disgusting, waste product, because there is no waste. All the waste comes out of your ass or your mouth, okay? I mean, you're either going to shit it out or throw it up. Anything that's coming out of our pee-pee is good stuff. I mean, I tell people, I said, look, why would we be designed to have the seed of life and come out of the same waste hole where a baby comes out? That makes no sense. No sense. Now, when I was in detox, all these different modalities of detoxing heavily, Man, I mean, I'd be on the toilet 6 or 8 or 10 times, and it's just liquid. So my body is releasing the shit it doesn't want. In the meantime, the pee is retainable, and I recognized it. You know, the pee wasn't the waste. Everything going out the other holes, that was definitely coming out as waste, but not out of my pee pee. But I never see it as that. No way. Yeah. And I bring people up to speed on this all the time. I really have no fear. Now, I told the story. I'll tell it on your show too, because this one's hilarious. And I was when I was coming off my last road trip, and Shane and I we spent a night in Amarillo, Texas, and then he was heading back to Fort Worth. I was heading back to Missouri. It's outside of St. Louis. And I'm driving down the road, and all of a sudden I'm being pulled over by a Department of Safety officer, with Texas, whatever, right? And he pulls me over, and he comes up to the window. I said, "Well, good morning, sir. How can I help you?" And he's like, "Well, do you know why I pulled you over?" And I said, "Well, not really." He said, "Well, you're doing 81 in a 75." And I said, "Well, that's interesting." I said, "I travel all over the country. I've been in just about every state, and most states are pretty cool with you doing 5 and even up to 10 over the speed limit, as long as you're not pushing past that." And he says, "Well, we're a little different here in Texas." And I said, "Well, no problem, sir. I respect. I can keep it at 75. I mean, if that's the way it rolls." And he says, "So you've been driving around the country, what's that about?" And I said, "Well, I'm on a book tour." "Oh, really?" And I said, "Yeah, I've been out, I wrote a book not long ago." And he goes, "What's the book called?" I said, "The Orin Oracles." He goes, "Well, what's that about?" And I said, "Well, you'll probably find this a little odd, a little taboo perhaps, but it's a book of poetry about urine therapy. Have you ever heard of it?" And he goes, "Well, no." And I said, "Well, I've learned how to heal myself, and I teach other people how to heal themselves by, drinking their own pee and using it as a medicinal modality." And he goes, "Well, that's pretty interesting." And I said, "Yeah, it's pretty interesting. It works for me, And he says, "Well, I'll get back with you, and he takes my license. They always want to run your license, see if they got you on something, right? If they can find some shit, right? So he goes back to the car, and this other highway patrolman who had somebody else pulled over and was obviously done harassing that citizen, he pulls up, and I'm looking in the rear view mirror, and I see the officer that had pulled me over talking to the officer, and I see everything, right? So I'm sure he was telling him, "Oh, you won't believe this one. This guy drinks his pee." But see, I mean, people went, "You told a policeman you drink your pee?" And I said, "Well, sure, why not? It just seemed perfectly natural to do. So I didn't have any thought about it, And that's the way I am with it's not like I walk around with a sign on me. Well, although I do wear shirts that say "SHIVAMBU," there's a sign. I say, piss. I have T-shirts that I've designed. Piss is bliss. My pee is tea. They're pretty obvious. Nobody seems to ever ask about them, but that's another story. But the fact is, if it shows up naturally in conversation, I allow it. And when people start telling me about their aches and pains and this and that and the other and blah, 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 I said, I know how you feel. I couldn't even move my hands, 2 years ago. They were in such distress. And so it just naturally leads into the conversation. It's effortless to me. It's a no-brainer to tell people about urine therapy, and I don't give a fuck what they think. I mean, I didn't care what people thought before, I mean, people are going to think what they think no matter what I think. And if I think I'm going to change their mind, I better think again, because that's ridiculous. You can lead people to knowledge, but you can't make them think, And you can lead them to urine, but you can't make them drink. It's going to be their own protocol if they decide that they're hurting enough to give it a try. Yeah. And I had a friend, she had tongue cancer and had, surgery, and she was finding lumps on her breast, and she's my age. And she told me flat out she'd have to be on her dying bed before she'd drink her pee. And I said, careful what you ask for.
Yeah.
Be careful what you ask for. And I mean, I just find that to be really sad that people are that hung up or that closed-minded that they'll go through radiation, chemotherapy, invasive surgery. Ridiculous, man. And the thing is that the whole allopathic system is by design set up to treat us, and they treat us poorly. They don't want to cure a thing. They just want to keep sucking us dry until we're dead. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, if you go to a doctor and you're sitting there in his office, he doesn't even look you in the eye. You're sitting there telling him blah, 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 whatever your symptoms and crap is. And he's just sitting there staring at the computer looking at what drugs he's going to give you. That's all. That's it. They're pimps. They're just pimps for pharmaceutical companies. That's all they are, and they get kickback. It's in their interest to give you drugs.
Yeah.
You take the money away and watch what happens. Now, a lot of people don't realize that urine is a multi-billion-dollar industry. They don't know. I mean, when I tell people that, I said, they're like, no way. I said, look, you can go to Porta John, who's the biggest porta potty company in the world, and they proudly announce how they partner with pharmaceutical companies throughout the world. In their harvesting of urine. So when you pee in one of those urinals, that it separates from the feces tank and the horses and cow farms they have, there's hundreds of them. There's like 600 of these farms in America alone that are just horse and pee farms. And it's another form of animal abuse, animal cruelty. They're forcing them into a pee factory. It's crazy. Crazy. And people think I'm nuts for drinking my pee. I just like, whatever, go fuck off. I don't care. Think what you want to, I mean, you want to fall into that trap, you're already halfway in. You want to go all the way in, go ahead. I won't, maybe I'll throw you a life ring. I'll give you some information and see how it resonates and see if you pick up your own shit and walk with it, But most people, their indoctrination through education has totally misled them in every way, shape, and form.
Badly.
Yeah. As Einstein so beautifully quoted, education and intelligence are not the same thing. They're just not. So, when people tell me about their doctrines in education, I go, okay, wow. Now, what did you learn there? Did you learn creative thinking? Did you learn any critical thinking? Or did you just learn how to mimic everything you're told so you can get those passing grades and just follow protocol so that you get hired into some corporate slum, some whorehouse that's pimping you? I mean, really, it's the whole system is designed for that. It's just designed for it. It's crazy to me. Totally crazy. Yeah. Yeah.
Really, really bad situation. And it's like what you were saying with the pharmaceuticals, etc. When we were talking about the urine, and then these massive companies, these people are saying, "Oh, I wouldn't touch urine," and unless I'm on my deathbed. But then they're putting it on their face anyway, in all these creams and these lotions.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I know. If they had any idea. Now, I've got a new friend that is getting ready to come on board. And I explained a few of these things, how it's all being used really against us. It's being harvested so that you're buying products, medical procedures, and pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
And all you need is your pee, and you're totally free from all those investments, all that damage that's being done to your skin, your insides. You're going to reverse all that shit. Because cosmetics, most of them are horrible. Hair products, cosmetics, skin lotions, the suntan, you name it, that shit's poison.
Terrible stuff.
Poison. Yeah. It's poison. And people don't get it. They just don't get it. And then they go pee, and then they put that Pyrex, sanitizer shit, which is just petrochemicals, that you're putting to sanitize your hand. I said, if you just pissed on your hands and rubbed them, they'd be more sterile. Now you got all that petrochemical shit on your hands. You know?
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah. No, it amazes me how people have been so railroaded. I mean, it's just amazing to me.
Yeah.
And when people awaken, they do. Some will, some won't, some do, some don't. And I don't care either way. I mean, it's not my job. You know, I mean, I take care of myself. I'll be a living example. I'll share, absolutely, you know, enlighten people if they're willing. I mean, I'll do all that.
Yeah.
You know, but if I'm going to take it personal, you know, I'm barking up the wrong tree.
Yeah, I agree.
Have you ever heard or read the book The Four Agreements by
Nope.
Okay, this is a good one. This one's been around a long time, and I'll just summarize it, okay? It's a sweet little read. I name Manuel Ruiz, I think is what it is. But anyway, what the four agreements are is quite simple. Be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personal. Don't assume anything. And be the best you can be. Now, those are pretty simple agreements.
Yeah.
But I know where most people have the biggest trouble is in the first two and even the three. You know, they're not impeccable with their word. They take shit personally and they assume too much.
All the time.
Three big mistakes.
Ass of you and me. Ass of you and me.
Yeah, ass of you and me. Exactly. So, you know, to steer clear of those, you know, ideas, you know, you're going against the grain, bro. And as an avatar, I know you know this. You know, what we do, how we walk, how we talk, how we live our lives goes completely against the stream of unconsciousness that rules the most society. Most all society is under that domain. So I know that we're rare, we're unique, but those that are ready will hear it and they'll rise to their own occasion. They'll step up and they'll get it. And the ones that aren't ready won't. And what am I going to do with them? Nothing. I'll work with the ones that are ready and willing to step up. That's who I'll work with. Every day, any day, always. Lovingly, unconditionally, and I'm not going to charge them like they're my client. That ain't gonna happen.
No. No.
Now, I come from that old, you know, Red Hot Chili Peppers. Give it away, give it away, give it away now. Give it away, you know, and there it is. You know, it's all about the cycle of giving and receiving, giving and receiving. Don't break the cycle. Just be it. Be it. You know?
You know, it's best way to be is to keep it going. And that way then we're all serving each other. And then that way everybody benefits and everybody gains.
Yeah. I mean, listen to all those fireworks, man. We're on fire here, bro.
1 second, I'm gonna
we're like a couple.
I feel tonight. I had the window open. I had to shut it a little bit. It's amazing.
Yeah. I feel like a couple of phoenixes rising from the ash, man. The place is blowing up.
It's amazing. The reason that they're doing this today is to celebrate Guy Fawkes. He was going to go into the House of Parliament in this country, and he was going to kind of blow it up because he didn't like the way things were going because it wasn't for the people. So it's just a crazy scenario. Even when we see the fireworks, etc., and then people don't realise why they're celebrating it, but they just do it anyway.
Why not? You know, see, I'm a firm believer in this, bro. That, you know, I mean, every day you should celebrate like it's your birthday. We're being reborn. We're being Bioran. I call it Bioran again instead of born again. We're Bioran again. And every day we are renewing. We're regenerating. We're having a new birthing. We're like coming out brand new every day, every moment. We're, you know, you got when you and Monica were talking. You know, you brought up the 7-year regenerating of cells. Yes, that's true. But we can be a proactive. We don't have to hang around for 7 years to wait. We can proactively do this every moment we breathe.
Yes.
And I know you understand that.
Yeah.
You know, and what a gift. How hard is that? It's not hard. You know, just be conscious of it. That's it. And most people are walking around zombie-like. Unfortunately, they just stare at their devices and look forward to their next TV show, whatever that shit is.
Yeah.
Filling their head full of sports, news, fear. They're just completely off track. Completely.
Totally.
Yeah. You look, I used to do all that. I'd watch the news, I'd watch sports. It was like mental masturbation, just like, yeah. But once I really got into the people, I just dropped it all. I dropped everything. I don't, current events, this, that, and the other, disasters. I'm clueless. Because if I improve my world, I'm improving the world. That's the way I view it. It's a personal responsibility. Rise to the highest occasion, show your highest integrity, bring your full game on, raise consciousness. And by doing that, we're doing our part. Buying the fear is not the answer.
Just not. Take your mind back. Get your mind back,
Yes.
As a legend himself.
And see, we're so programmed into the competition instead of the cooperation. It's always this win-lose paradigm, which is archaic. We need to be in win-win. As we enter into non-competitive and total cooperation so that everybody is supporting each other and being the best they can be and improving and all of that, then we're going somewhere. That's where you're going to have the consciousness shift. Yeah, and it seems like a slow process, but more and more people are awakening. I see it all the time. And it doesn't matter their age. It doesn't matter their culture, their background, their belief, their education. They're awakening. They're going, what in the fuck was I thinking? I need to rethink this. I gotta change my mind. Good start. Change your mind.
That's why urine's got to be. We're looking at it now. You've got all this flat earth and this, you got everything, right? But the urine itself, once you action it yourself, you become to realize that this is probably, it has to be, that this is the main thing that have been hiding from you, because this is where you get to not only look at truth and say this is true. No, you become the truth that way. It's like we don't watch the news, etc. anymore, because we understand that carries a vibrational frequency that's gonna bring us down from where we're at. So we automatically steer clear. Yes, absolutely. And you and Monica touched on it brilliantly in your interview. And that's all it is. It's energy, frequency, vibration. Tesla nailed it. If we can really resonate at that simple energy, frequency, vibration, it doesn't have to get any more complicated than that. Simple.
That is the key to the universe. Energy, frequency, vibration. And the more we own it, understand it, accept it, practice it, live it, be it, it happens. It's a natural order. What you think about, you bring about. You start avataring. You start elevating. Your consciousness goes into multiple dimensions. It's like taking a hit of DMT, man, or ayahuasca. All of a sudden, mind blown.
Massive, it's mega. Yeah. It really is. And to see that it's actually something that's happening, it's just unbelievable. There is no words to describe it.
Yeah.
Fireworks can't describe it.
Yeah, exactly. Now, see, I can't say never, but I really don't care for fireworks, because of what they represent. It's all those bombs bursting in air with all the flags waving and patriotic music and all that horse shit. And I go, what the hell? You're freaking all the animals in the world out, and all that shit's dropping in water, fucking up the it fucks up everything. It's just noise pollution, man. And so I'm not a big one on fireworks. I don't want to go see firework displays. I don't give a shit. Another thing, all that nationalism, patriotism, all of that, institutionalism is just archaic. It's archaic. traditions, holidays, bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. It's all bullshit. All of it. Yeah. Game over. I mean, it really is. And the more people that awaken to that sensibility, and it is sensible, you know, it's awakening to your own sensibility. And as we do this, we become free. And that's what's so beautiful about the P. It is free, and it will free us.
It will.
I mean, it doesn't get any simpler than that.
Yeah.
I feel totally free
Same
to
here.
move about the cabin. You know, I can live in every moment, breathe it in the way I want, and I love it. I just love. I love my life. I love my life.
Good. Yeah.
I love myself. Oh, that's so selfish and arrogant. What a narcissist. Ah, well. Your perception, not mine. I'm actually a very loving, gentle, kind soul. And I share that love with everybody because, see, this is the thing. I have the capacity for unconditional love because I unconditionally love myself. So I can honestly put myself in that mindset with everybody. Yeah. Now, there's a difference between love and like. I can unconditionally love you, but not like you at all. Yeah. I mean, most people I don't like. I don't like their attitudes, their character, their belief systems, their performance, okay? So the difference, again, these other two ideas, acceptance and tolerance. Now I have 100% acceptance of all people. Tolerance, don't imply, don't assume, don't do any of those little, you know, sleight of hand mind fuck tricks that you think is going to manipulate me because I'll blow your shit. I'll twist your melon. I'll talk so hip, man, I'll twist your melon.
That's right. Hit the nail on the head.
Yeah. Well, you know, I've been a wordsmith for a really long time, and I understand I'm a clever guy. I mean, I'm very, I write poetry effortlessly. I'm very articulate and take responsibility for the content of my word. I understand what I'm talking about. And like Bob Dylan said, I know my song well before I sing it. And that's who I am. Yeah. You know, I don't script anything like we were, you know, talking earlier. I don't script anything ever. And I could go up in front of me, man. It wouldn't matter because I just channel the shit. I just, whatever is inspired to come through, I allow it and I trust it and I just channel it. Doesn't matter what it is.
Key words again, yeah, definitely so. Just channeling it straight through. It's coming from your higher self, so why not let it be?
Yeah. I don't have to overthink this shit. It's not required of me, you know, not at all. I never like trip on any of it, never. And, you know, I love doing the interview process. So like I said, I'm honored to be a guest of yours. I think what you're doing is awesome. And I really was honored to be a host myself. And I have a great series, you know, that I am really glad to have in my collection. But out of the technical shit, it was just, I figured, okay, other people are going to step into the arena, that somebody invites me to be interviewed rather than me interview everybody. And so, again, I'm just honored to be on the other side of the mic kind of thing. I'm honored. Yeah. It's good stuff. What you're doing is good stuff. And you're a really bright young man. I mean, you know, I really respect and appreciate the work you've done on yourself. But you bring a lot to the table. You bring a lot of knowledge. You bring a lot of personal testimony and experience to the table. And that, to me, is more valuable than anything. Testimony, to me, is one of the highest vibe things that you can share. The personal experience, tell your story, how much things have changed. I think it's powerful information. And it works for everybody that way. You know, you want to transform, well, do it. You know, what are you waiting for? If not you, who? If not now, when? You know, what are you waiting for? You know, I say that flat out to people. What are you waiting for? You want to have one more thing fall apart on you or break down or, you know, I mean, what are you waiting for before you're going to make a transformational change to improve your life take some responsibility, own your shit, and up your game. And quit looking outside. Everybody's looking in the wrong fucking direction, dude. They're just looking in the wrong direction. It's not out there. It's all an inside job. And until you get that, you'll never get it. It's an inside job. We have all the tools. We have all the connectors. We have all the dimensions. We have it all inside of us. All of us. We are God. We are avatars. We are who we've been waiting for. You don't have to wait for anybody. So, and again, that goes way against the grain. It fucks with people's belief systems. And that's what really twists people's melons. I'll die for my beliefs. And I go, well, that's obvious. You're doing a pretty good job of it. you might want to change that storyline. Yeah. No, it's like I said earlier, the more serious people take themselves, the more I just have to laugh harder. I just go, are you tripping? I mean, really? I mean, animation is what makes it work. And we are in a matrix. This is all an animation.
Yeah.
Again, anything that ever was, anything that ever will be, already is. It already exists. It just depends on where your dimensions take you, where your imagination takes you, what your thought process is. That's all that matters. That's the connector. And if you can get your mind right and your heart fuels what you think about, you're emotionally charged, right? And so, good, bad, ugly, and different, your body is going to respond to what you think about, what you emotionally charge it with, and your body will show up the results. Good, bad, ugly, and different. And if you look around society, it looks pretty fucking ugly.
It does, though, doesn't it?
I mean, it's a pretty easy read.
I love the way you lay it on the line. Perfect.
So, some people go, oh, you and your guttural language. And they're like, oh, fuck off. Most people don't even know where these words come from. They have no idea where the words even originated.
Nope.
Yeah, they're both acronyms. Both these words are acronyms. Fuck is a acronym from 17th century Old English law. Fornicating under carnal knowledge. Okay, so you were having sex inappropriately, which was a felony in that time. So that's where it came from. Shit came from maritime, because in the maritime they were using cattle as ballast. So they'd put all this cattle and livestock in the bottom of ships, and the methane gas would rise and something would spark it and the ships would blow up. And they're going, well, this isn't working. So they had a stamp, and it was SHIT, ship high in transit. You get them out of the bowels of the ship and you get them up high where it breathes, right? Yeah. So, again, these two words are probably the most common words in every language, in every culture, in every country all over the world.
Yeah.
I would almost guarantee that shit and fuck are two of the most common words, and they can be used in so many ways. And it's not the word themselves, it's just what you're putting into it or put behind it.
Yeah.
And so I don't trip on it. People get all goofy about language. I'm not politically correct, okay? I don't go in that paradigm. Because I think it cuts off the core. We're being cut to the core because, oh, God, you don't want to say this. You don't want to do that. You might offend somebody. Hey, I can't offend anybody. You can get offended by yourself without my help. If I trigger that, shit, they're just doing whatever their shit is. And I'm responding. I'm reacting.
Yeah.
So it's really taking ownership. That's all it is.
It is.
And I'm very calculated about how I use language. I'm very impeccable about that. I do it on purpose. I do it to push buttons.
Get a response.
I say, you never know what's going to wake somebody up. You never know. And so I don't worry about it. I just don't. I just roll with it. Leave it alone. Yeah.
It's true, like you say, you just never know. One of the most amazing things at the moment is the age during basket that you did, because the result from that was just massive for what it did for you, just from looking at and seeing it. How often do
Yeah.
you?
Well, right now it isn't set up. The one in the freezer.
Yeah,
Yeah, that is badass right there, man. That stuff's off the hook. To get into full body soak like that is incredible. And Rosalind Hanson's the one who turned me on to that idea.
don't surprise me.
So, yeah, and Jeff Schofield, who I did a video with him recently, and he's in the utero thing. He's in another whole like paradigm. His shift. I mean, most people are really find it hard to get what he's saying. I listen to him carefully, so I understand it, but I'm not calling it. I don't need to go there. That's not my feeling. But he's the one who gave me the freezer because he saw what I was doing with a little kiddie pool, and he had a dead freezer. He said, "Oh man." So he brought me the freezer, and I thought, oh man, this is way cool. So, but right now it's cold in Missouri. It's getting colder. So I put all of my urine right now is in, I have it insulated and protected and covered, and everything's breathing. So I got like 65 or 70 gallons of pee, and it's out in a barn. So I've wrapped it in insulation. I've protected it the best I can because that's where it sits. And even if it does freeze, it'll be an experiment. I'll just see how how that does. There's plenty more pee where that came from. I got no shortage of pee. But the age stuff, I mean, it's really, and I did see when I was doing that, when I shot that video, I had never been more attacked in my life by insects. There's these little bugs called chiggers. There's ticks, there was fleas, and mosquitoes. And between these four insects, I had 60, 80, 90 bites on my body. They were all over my feet, my ankles, my shins, my calves, my thighs, my belly, my back. I mean, it was nuts. I had so many tick bites, it was insane. I was getting spider bites. Okay, so my whole body was just getting like perforated by insects. And that healing process that I did in sitting in the full soak like that for 40, 45 minutes, then going out and standing in the sunshine and doing the body rubs and all of that, sun gazing, sunbathing, man, I turned that shit around really fast, really fast. And then I started using spray bottles. I'd put aged or fresh with a little tincture in it, like some tea tree oil, or you have different essential oils, right? So just because the insects don't like the scent, right? So you can spray that stuff on your body and just let the body continually evaporate it or absorb it. Either way, I just used the spray bottle to keep the insects off me. They'd already chewed me to shit. So I'm working on healing. I don't want any more new ones, right? So all of those things work, though. They worked. They just worked, And people that saw me in Vegas when I was at this symposium that hadn't seen me for a year, the first thing they said is like, "Is that you? I mean, God, look at your skin. It's miraculous." And is the shit. I'm nine. Really nice skin. And I owe it all to urine, man. I owe it to urine, period. There's nothing else. Nothing else. It's crazy cool how easy it is. It's amazing to me. Now, how long have you been doing it? When did you start urine therapy?
I started about 2 years ago now. It's been a couple of years. And then aged urine drinking, I've been doing that. I've been doing aged urine drinking for every single day for about a year.
Yeah.
And it's just got up and up and up and up and up in terms of the benefits, and obviously unlocking the advancements and upgrades from it. Just be drinking more and more and more, and then just learning with it as well as you go along. Now I know that there's different types of aged urine, and there's some that's like a sport aged urine that's specific for drinking, and it's just unbelievable, absolutely mind blowing.
Yes. So when on my anniversary comes up up January 23rd. I'll never forget that date. It was like the day I was born, January 23rd, 2017. It's like the day I was born.
Yeah.
With me on, and I'm grateful for that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so I when I look at it, I mean, it's only been barely a couple of years, and I look at the transformations I've gone through, and I'm just like, I'm totally marveled. It's amazing to me.
It's absolutely amazing, isn't it? But it's then again, like we say, it's something that's come around over the last couple of years. Really, I know that Monica's been doing it for an eternity, absolute legend. But really, this massive moves come in the last few years. It was like the flat Earth. I heard about it in 2014, 2015, and that just came through as something. So we know that this is actually part of the massive shift that we're experiencing on this Earth.
Yes, and it was significant for me. I mean, I ignored the, that whole conversation for more than a year because when I do research, I go way in. So I was busy with other things. So it took me almost a year before I said, okay, now what's this flat Earth idea? What are people talking about, right? And so I kind of went in because of my science. Hey, science, right? So I went in to disprove it, but the further I looked into it, the further it stuck out, and it made perfect sense to me. And I went, okay, I get it. I have been completely lied to, completely hoaxed on every fucking thing ever.
Yeah.
And so now I'm free, and that's when I discovered the P. So it was a beautiful transition for me because I was so ready to be a little child again, a sense of wonder, relearning, deprogramming, all of it. I was so ready for that to just naturally take its own course, and it has.
Yeah.
And I don't go around pushing anything. I mean, I'm certainly a big proponent of urine therapy. Absolutely. I came out of the closet immediately. I never was in the closet. I came right out of the gate and I said, man, this is crazy cool.
Crazy.
And I just started talking about it, and I alienated everybody I knew. It wasn't until I left Washington. I mean, I had a couple of people that would still hang with me, but most everybody was like, no, dude, flat Earth and drinking pee. I mean, we thought you were fucking weird with the vegan shit, but now you're completely gone. So, I mean, it was really like that. So that's when I hit the road, bro. When I hit the road, I was like, okay, I'm out of here. I have no limits anymore. And my universe, my high vibe tribe, my experience is just exponentially gone like boom, boom, boom. I mean, it's just been it's been amazing. My life is amazing. I mean, I really am. I just feel so grateful every day of my life. I have to pinch myself. I mean, it's like, is it really this easy? Am I really that good? And it's like, dude, it is this easy, and you are that good. Keep up the good work.
It's coming off you anyway. Even if you didn't speak it, I can see it coming off you. I can see it coming off you. That bliss and everything else, that total happiness, it's coming off you, man. Fantastic.
Yeah, thank you.
Great shot.
Well, being a writer, I've done many different. I got like 7 bodies of work in the Library of Congress here in America. I've been a writer and prolific for a really long time. So I play with words a lot, break them down, just to look at how things work. So one of the words I decided I'd make an acronym out of is the word bliss. And I acronymed it in this way: being, love, in spiritual splendor. There's your bliss. People go, ignorance is bliss. No, ignorance is fucking ignorance. Get your head out of your ass. It stinks up there, okay? Bliss is something completely different, okay? Let's get real. You want to be ignorant, be ignorant. That's an option. That's a choice. But let's be real, Now, when I was back in doing seminars and motivational training and all this stuff, I mean, I was in a multi-level of idea. And, I learned several things that I found easy to teach. And here's one of them, is that there's basically 3 types of thinkers: small, medium, large.
Yeah.
Small thinkers, they backbiters and, talk shit and, are always mealy mouthed and all that stuff. They're a pretty easy read.
Yeah.
Medium thinkers stay in the safety zone. They'll talk about sports cars, contemporary events, TV shows, just stay totally in a neutral safety zone. And then you get to big thinkers and they're into philosophy, spirituality, expanded consciousness, arts, creativity, whatever, So I also have to do is like talk to somebody for a few minutes and I already have a read on who I'm talking to. And I'll just be there. I won't, I'm not going to make anybody uncomfortable. I have a limited amount of capacity to hang around small thinkers because all that shit is just noise to me. Medium thinkers, they're just doing the best they can. You never know what's going to blow somebody's mind. You never know what's going to turn the trigger on. You never know when somebody's going to have an epiphany and wake up. They keep hitting snooze. They keep hitting snooze. They keep hitting snooze. One of these times, they might wake up instead of going back to sleep. You never know when that might happen. It might be something you said or I said that all of a sudden flips a switch and the light's on and somebody's finally home. You never know when it might occur.
Yeah.
And I'm always down with that.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Casey, it's been fantastic to have you on the show today.
Thank you.
The work that you are doing across this planet is just mind-blowing. There are no words again to describe it, and I think it's like that with beautiful souls like yourself that are actually making a massive impact out here. You're a legend in the urine therapy community, and like I say, once again, people, if you don't know already, you need to add Casey Caban. We Do Wonders. I seen the last show. It's very professionally cut. There's lots to learn, so you've got to add this man. If you don't know this guy by now, you don't know anything. Get adding him if you haven't. I'm totally blessed. So happy to have him on the show today. And it's just been absolutely fantastic just to sit and just listen to your experiences and everything else, your testimonies, and where urine is taking you to. So thank you very much for having you for being on the show today, brother. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and thank you for having me. And I just want to, in close, just say anybody can find me at my YouTube. It's WEEDU SHIVAMBU at YouTube. And keep your eyes out for orintownstudios.com. And I will throw that out in subliminal messaging on Facebook and other places as we approach that opening date. So that's how people can find me. I also am at WEEDU SHIVAMBU email. If anybody wants to directly contact me, that's the easiest way. So with all love, all respect, Fabian, you're fabulous, bro. Good job. I thank you. I'm humbled and I'm honored to be with you. And I, from here on out, I feel we are friends, dude. We're tribe. Yeah. I feel it. And I thank you.
That shadow of that. So guys, thank you for paying attention to the show. Tune in again. We'll meet you on the other side. We'll be back again very shortly. It's Alkalise to Realise Talk Show. You can find us on YouTube. You can add me, Fabian Farquharson. You can also join the Blood of Christ AIDS Urine Therapy Group to learn more on how to upgrade and advance yourself. I'd like to give a shout out to my partner, Lee Molson, and also some of the admins in the group. We've got Harry Matadine, fantastic. We've got Monica Schott, Roslyn Hanson. These people that I've just mentioned are absolutely fantastic, beautiful living souls, and you can learn everything that you need to know from them in order so that you can advance and go on your own path and raise the game and raise up people. So peace and love all, and Casey, I'll speak to you soon.
Yeah, man. Thank you for mentioning everyone you mentioned are all my tribal members, man. We're all in the tribe. I love these people.
Yeah.
See you on the rebounds, bro.
See you soon. See you soon.
All
brother.
right. Peace out.
Peace out.